What causes way more deaths than people are aware of? Currently sleep deprived, at home all day, no health risk to anyone, so I was just Googling this. Apparently, if you've been awake for 24 hours straight, your cognitive ability is impaired to the level on par with someone with a blood alcohol concentration of 0.1%. 0.08% is enough to get you hit with a DUI. Seriously, please do not lack of sleep and drive. Tripping. On average, around 17,000 people a year in the US die from injuries incurred after tripping and falling. People really seem to downplay heart issues. Heart issues cause more deaths than cancer. It's the leading cause of death in the US. But cancer seems to get more of a spotlight. Neglect in nursing homes. Forcing doctors to work long shifts. 600 people die in parking lots every year because somebody didn't look behind them when they backed up their car. I wouldn't have imagined it was that high. Childbirth. Yes, even in countries with modern medicine. Asthma and allergies. 10 people a day die from asthma in the United States. More people than died on 9/11 die every year due to smog, pollution, smoke, and allergies. But when my ex-husband had an asthma attack that put him into the ICU for a week, and everyone acted like it was some sort of joke. We divorced decades ago for non-health related reasons, but I never forgot that feeling of him almost dying in front of me while we were in the ER because he wasn't responding to the meds and there was nothing more the doctors could do. But people treat asthma and allergies like they are just something for hypochondriacs to fuss over. How many times do we see posts from people whose families think it's funny to just slip in some peanuts and see what happens? I mean, it's just an allergy, right? That candle smoke with all the heavy perfume can't hurt anyone. They are just being snowflakes. I'll blow it out before they get here. It's not a joke. This is very interesting. It's crazy to think about how many different things can cause way more deaths than people realize. It's especially eye-opening to hear about the dangers of sleep deprivation and the number of deaths caused by tripping and falling. It's a reminder to always prioritize getting enough sleep and being cautious in our everyday activities. I had no idea that neglect in nursing homes could cause so many deaths. It's really sad to think about the impact of not receiving proper care and attention in those environments. It's a sobering reminder of the importance of advocating for the well-being of vulnerable populations. Have you ever been surprised to learn about the causes of deaths that are not commonly discussed? What are some other lesser-known factors that you find particularly surprising or concerning? Let me know in the comments down below, and let's move right into our next Reddit post. What are some of the most mind-blowing little-known facts that will completely change the way we see the world? Every element heavier than lithium had to be created in the core of a star. Every element heavier than iron had to be created by a supernova. So you do contain stardust and supernova dust, but there's more. Hydrogen was created by or at the same time as the Big Bang. So there's a large part of you that predates stars. Grizzly bears in Yellowstone eat around 300,000 moths a month, and it accounts for 1/3 of their calorie intake. If you stand on any planet or moon of the solar system and look up, you'll see the same night sky as we see it from Earth. Same constellations and all. That's how unfathomably far away the stars are compared to the planets. However, there's one exception. If you stand on Pluto and look up, you'll see that Proxima Centauri looks slightly off compared to its position in the terrestrial sky. That's how unfathomably far Pluto is as well. There are only about 25 blimps in the world. Man, that's less than one for every 10,000 moths a bear eats per month. Cheetahs aren't big cats. They are very large, small cats. How advanced and skilled ancient humans were. Over 50,000 years ago, humans were able to cross approximately 60 miles of open ocean and settle in Australia. The timeline for the colonization of America has continuously been postponed. For tens of thousands of years, modern humans lived alongside other ancient hominids who were similar enough to us to interbreed and produce viable offspring. It is truly incredible to contemplate. Benford's law describes how large data sets of numbers behave in very predictable ways. It's one of the easiest ways to detect if a company is cooking its books. You always have more knowledge than you can put into words. Michael Polanyi. You can never fully articulate, for example, all of the knowledge that you rely on in order to ride a bicycle. There is always some remaining knowledge that you're leaving unspoken. Polanyi's book, Personal Knowledge, blew my mind. Edit, The Tacit Dimension, is a more compact book covering some of the same ideas. This is incredibly fascinating. I never knew that every element heavier than lithium had to be created in the core of a star. And the fact that humans were able to cross 60 miles of open ocean and settle in Australia over 50,000 years ago is mind-blowing. It's amazing to think about the advanced skills of ancient humans. Plus, Benford's law describing how large data sets of numbers behave and its application in detecting fraudulent activities is so interesting. Did you know that only about 25 blimps exist in the world? That's crazy. And I can't believe that grizzly bears in Yellowstone eat around 300,000 moths a month. Do you know any other mind-blowing little-known facts that completely change the way you see the world? I'd love to hear more. What other mind-blowing little-known facts about the universe or nature do you know? Can you share one that really fascinated you? Let me know in the comments down below, and let's move right into our next Reddit post. What's the scariest thing about being a woman? There is a long-standing stigma of women being overly dramatic and medical professionals, even female professionals, dismissing their pain or discomfort. I had several friends of varying ages who were misdiagnosed or ignored because the doctors assumed it was a pregnancy or period-related problem. Meanwhile, my older brother went to the doctor for what was essentially heartburn and got every test under the sun to diagnose it. My big sister kept getting told she had fatigue. She kept being fobbed off. Her husband made her change doctors and got proper tests done. She had kidney and lung cancer. The unnerving calculation I have to make in deciding whether it's worth it to be polite and engage in conversation with a stranger, or to come off as cold and dismissive for the sake of my own safety. It's like playing a perpetual game of risk assessment. That almost any man you meet can easily overpower you without much effort. Any woman who has ever had to physically fight a man knows well how helpless she felt at that moment. Other things have been mentioned that I agree with. I'll add, not being taken seriously, especially in a medical situation. Example, I went to the hospital in severe pain, and the first things I was told and checked out for were period cramps and pregnancy, although I said it was neither. I felt like I was dying. After being pregnant and having 2 kids, I can say it felt like neither. It turned out I had a severe kidney infection and could have died. Edit to add, since some people have mentioned, it seems like a routine thing to do. I was placed as not urgent in the triage list and waited hours before they got to reviewing my test results. I sat in the corner of triage, feeling like I was dying and trying to tough it out because I felt ashamed and like an inconvenience that I went to the ER. When they finally did get to my results, they quickly changed their tune and treated me immediately. I could have gone septic while waiting for them to treat me. For me, it would be being assaulted and then even worse, not being believed. The scariest but most frustrating thing ever for me has always been our lack of physical strength. Scariest because I'm always suddenly aware of that strength difference when a guy's upset or when I'm walking somewhere at night, and it just makes me feel so weak, and I hate it. Most frustrating when it's used to mock us by certain men, not all men of course, or not take us seriously. I work with domestic violence and SA survivors. I don't even know where to start, including men and LGBT survivors, elderly and children, human trafficking and stalking. Giving birth to a child is dangerous, and postpartum injuries can be very serious. I am male, but have seen it said before when regarding going on a first date. Men are scared she will be fat. Women are scared they will be raped and or murdered. When I was young, I thought that was just anti-male hyperbole. But then after I met my ex-wife and she told me the horrible things that have happened, then other women close to me opened up. I no longer think it was hyperbole. Men do terrible things to women and often go unpunished. I am not surprised women fear. It is horrible to live in fear like that. It's not fair and it's not right. Anyway, not sure what else I can say. I just hope the good guys outweigh the evil. This is a very sad and concerning topic. It's heartbreaking to hear about the experiences these women have had to endure. The fact that women are often dismissed or not taken seriously in medical situations is extremely worrisome. It's frustrating to hear about the lack of physical strength and the fear that comes with it. And the constant fear of assault and violence is a terrifying reality that many women face. These stories are a harsh reminder of the challenges and dangers that women can encounter on a daily basis. It's important to acknowledge and address these issues in order to create a safer and more equitable world for everyone. Have you ever had an experience where you felt dismissed or ignored in a medical situation? How did it make you feel? Well, that's another episode of Ask Reddit in the books. I really appreciate all of you who made it this far into the video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would really help the channel out a lot if you gave the video a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.